So now what we're trying to do is we want to take this piece of clipped in hair and we want to blend it with this other hair so that, you know, if you got leave out and your leave out is not quite the same texture, you want to create that texture blend in the hair. So we've got this hair and we've got this hair. So I'm going to use my special blend of water and I'm going to spray it together. You see I've got it sprayed together. Got my hands in there so that I get a nice blend on this mixture. Because we want to assimilate, like this hair has been in a sew-in, or we want to blend it because it is in K-tips, whatever the hair is. And so you guys can see this is not anything like those clippings that we just clipped on that hair, right? So again, I'm going to use my Velcro to just keep that hair out of my way. And so now I could use more hair than this, but I don't want to take a whole lot of hair. What I want to do is I want to have it so that it blends. I want to make sure that the two hairs blend together. So when I'm coming in for my two hairs to blend together, this is where I'm going to use a product such as my foam wrap. And I'm going to take this hair and I am going to, again, apply my product in a blended way. And then I'm going to, you see I'm taking small sections too. I'm not taking a huge section because it's about blending the leave out. So I'm not trying to have more hair than I'm actually blend with. So now when we're talking about blending the leave out, you want to take it and you want to make sure that there's enough leave out. So I could take even more leave out than this. But I'm going to take that hair and I am going to twist it around so that it blends together. Now, if I am working with a curlier texture of hair, I am going to take that curlier texture of hair and I need to create more than just a wave, right? So this is good enough for a wave. So when I'm working with a curlier texture of hair, we're going to come here in the front because a lot of times that's what we're working with too. We're working with trying to make sure that that front blends nicely. So this is the chunk that I'm using for the front. Let me get this right in together. And I'm just going to use a clip here to hold this in place with so that it can simulate what I want you to see. So now we're just going to take our clip and I'm clipping that hair right there next to it. And because I want to blend it together, again, I'm going to take my special water blend and I'm wetting everything together. And that's what I want. I want everything to be wet together. So even when I'm finger combing it, I'm finger combing it together. So just like as if they're all the same. But I know that this hair is going to curl up a lot more than my natural hair. So the extensions and the natural hair need to curl together. So now I'm going to use a foam. And I want to make sure I'm thoroughly saturating that hair with the foam. Not that I'm using a lot of foam. I just want to make sure that I got the foam all on the natural hair as well as the extension hair, and it is all the way through. So I don't want it to be like a chunk of hair and it's wet in the middle or not wet in the middle or semi-dry. I want it to be evenly distributed, the product, all the way through. So now that I have the product all the way through, now I'm going to take a rod, a flexi rod, to put this together. Okay, so depending on your curl pattern, your curl texture, how your hair is going to perform is going to depend on the size. For this, I'm going to say typically a red or a yellow, right? Now we're talking about longer hair. We're talking about hair that is, you know, highly textured against that. So I'm going to go with the red because it's slightly larger. And we do want to still keep the elongation going. And you can see the bottom of this has some curling up too, but you just see the way we know this hair is curly because this is literally a piece of this hair. So we see where it can go. We see what it can do. However, just because of what we just did, you see that it's not doing all that in this moment. It's waiting for us to tell it what to do. So in us telling it what to do, we're going to start wrapping it around, but I'm also wrapping it loosely. But I started from the top. So from the top, I'm going to bend that hair, that rod rather, there. On the bottom, I'm going to overlap it just a little because I do want it to maintain that curl on the end. And then guess what? You may put a little bit more foam wrap there, just depending on how it's performing. But if possible, just bend that on the bottom. And that's just how simple that's going to be. So we got the twist going here because this again is more of a wavy texture. And so that might even be what you do with the hair. You might do some twisting, and in the front, if you want more definition, more elongation, you just might add the rod to the front. But that's exactly how you want to maintain that you blend those two curl patterns together. Again, you never want the hair to be dripping wet. You definitely want it to be wet, but you don't want it to be dripping wet. So you want to be able to really take advantage of the styling product. And how you don't lose the hold in a styling product is by making sure the ends are not dripping wet. You want them to be wet, but not dripping wet. So you can see how these twist. And you just twist that hair together as if they all are growing out of the scalp together.